What's up guys, welcome to my newest YouTube discussion video where I will be discussing what has been quite a hot topic for the past few weeks, and that is ESEA versus FACEIT in South Africa. I'll be discussing a few main topics and just deep diving into them and kind of just drawing comparisons between what ESEA offers, what FACEIT offers, and which is better for me and what I have experienced. So that's just a quick disclaimer as well. All of these things that I am going to be saying, it's based off of my opinion and my experiences which I've had with both of ESEA and FACEIT. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So the first big topic for me, it's going to be price. As you can see, we've got ESEA at the 45 Rand price mark, and it is making it the cheaper option between the two premium matchmaking services. The convenience of just going onto the Steam store and buying it from there is a huge advantage that they do have, in my opinion, and it makes it way easier to resub every month if you wish to do so. Whereas the monthly subscription fee for FACEIT has differed just due to the rand-dollar exchange rate. So the price for FACEIT sub on 1,000 lines. Let me just make this clear as well. When I'm referring to FACEIT, I'm actually referring to the hub that all of these South African players have been playing on for pretty much the past 2 years, which is called 1,000 lines. So that subscription fee is $4, which obviously then fluctuates as the rand-dollar exchange rate fluctuates. So if the dollar depreciates, then your subscription fee is going to be cheaper, which is good. But if it appreciates against the rand, obviously, then not so good. Then you're going to be paying much more for your subscription fee, and it's going to lead to an obviously much more expensive subscription. This is obviously excluding that, so that 15% is also going to be coming in, which is going to be increasing the subscription fee even more, unfortunately. So the average price, I know some of you may be looking and saying 80 Rand. I haven't paid that in quite a while, so the average price that I've got here is basically what I've gathered for the past roughly 2 years. I've been playing on FACEIT for about 3 years, and I mean, there were times where I've paid 100 Rand for my subscription, 90 Rand, even as low as like 70 Rand sometimes, but it's basically averaged out at about 80 Rand, which is almost double the price of what you will pay for an ESEA subscription. So the reason for that is still very unknown to me. I don't quite know why the ESEA versus FACEIT price tag differs so much. I would really like to know, but unfortunately I don't. so that is for me why ESEA is getting the thumbs up in the price tag battle. So next up we have UI, also known as user interface. So this is a pretty big one. Starting off with the ESEA, I've only given them a 5 out of 10 rating, and I'll quickly just jump into exactly why I've done this. So straight off the bat, I've played FACEIT for the past 2 years. I think FACEIT was launched somewhere in 2018, March or April, May-ish, around there. I was so excited about this because it was obviously massive for the community. Something has never happened like this before, so I straight jumped onto the bandwagon, started playing FACEIT. And there are some immediate limitations with regards to UI now that I've gone over to ESEA, which I can immediately see. Number one being that you can't see how many people are in the queue when you are searching for a match. You can't see how many matches are currently being played, because sometimes if the queues do get busy, you have more than one match being played, which is then awesome to see, because it's kind of like, wow, there's 5 matches being played. Today is a really good and active day, whereas sometimes there's only 1 or 2 matches maybe being played, and then you're like, oh, okay, so maybe it's just a quiet day today. This is why I'm waiting so long. So it's kind of explaining that to you. They even show that how long these matches are being played, what map it's being played, who are playing in these matches. So that is all with FACEIT, obviously, that you can get that information, whereas with ESEA that is non-existent. You can't see how many people are queuing, can't see how many matches are currently being played, And if you do want to see that, you're basically gonna have to go full on Sherlock Holmes to kind of scan your friends list, message your friends and say like, yo, are you in an ESEA game, or like kind of to try and see what the score of that game is, and then you can kind of get like a reliable estimate of how long it will take for the next game to pop. But still, that is quite a bit unnecessary, and I hope that over the coming months, maybe ESEA can implement a feature where you can actually see how many people are currently queuing for a match. The one positive I will take from the ESEA user interface is that it is very simple to create a lobby. It is literally very simple. Overall, the whole ESEA user interface is very, very logical and simple. You literally go onto your browser, install the ESEA client. As soon as you open it, there's a big button saying create lobby, which is obviously giving it away. Click on the create lobby button, and then you basically just set which maps do you want to play, the ping limitation, and then Q4 match, and there you go, you're going to be finding a match. So that is very easy. Whereas when I started out in FACEIT, I was very confused. I didn't know how to join the specific hub that I needed to join, what the name of the hub was. I had a really rough time because I actually almost bought a FACEIT premium subscription, which costs around $10, I believe. So that would have pretty much been 2.5 months of subscription that I would have paid unnecessarily. And I've seen a lot of people do that before, where they just buy the FACEIT premium subscription, which is very unnecessary because you don't have to pay $10 to get into the hub. But that's the only way that they knew how to do it. So that is where I've not given FACEIT UI a 10 out of 10, and this isn't something to do with FACEIT. I think it's more to do with Stars and Lions, because maybe the least that they could have done is publish the YouTube video just to kind of show like, hey guys, this is how you find a hub, this is how it works, and all of that. But that's a very small thing. This is still why I've given them a 9 out of 10, because I'm honestly very happy with the whole FACEIT user interface versus ESEA, which I think has a lot of stuff to improve on. Now, I've just labeled it Pugs because I'm gonna be diving into a few points surrounding Pugs. Firstly, ESEA versus FACEIT in Pugs. So for ESEA, I've been playing ESEA for around 2 months now, and even before, when it was around, I think last year in 2020, and even before that, ESEA has been pretty prominent in the ZA scene. It's always come in and then disappeared, and come in and disappeared, and now it's kind of now here again, and people are hoping that it stays this time around. And the reason for that is obviously because I've had a very casual and fun experience playing Pugs. Like, honestly, I've had loads of fun that I've not ever had in FACEIT, I'll be honest. When I'm comparing ESEA games to FACEIT games, it's literally day and night. Like, you can jump into a match, there's no team damage except for obviously mollies, and you can overall just have fun with your friends. You can triple queue, which is really, really, really cool, because then obviously you can play with your friends, you can have fun. And yes, there is a elo system, obviously, so people are going to still have that competitive factor of like, oh, I really want to win this match, I really want to grind to win this match. But that's fine, you can still do that. But I've just found in ESEA that probably 8 out of 10 games are very enjoyable for me. I have a great time. Versus FACEIT, which sorry to say this, but I've been playing FACEIT since it came out. I started out obviously in the gold division, then moved over to the diamond division, and I've been in the diamond division for about 2 years now, I would say. And it's really an oof, because the toxicity is really, really rough. It's not fun at times. You really get disheartened, especially as a streamer or content creator around CS and in the local scene. It's really just annoying sometimes playing games where people are just constantly nagging and moaning and complain. It's not fun. It's not fun, and that is something where I would say I've enjoyed ESEA way more. It's way more fun, maybe a bit less pressure. I don't quite know why it is more fun, because I've found it's still the same players playing. For some reason, they just don't care too much in ESEA, so it does make for a better experience. Now, the next thing for me is the ability to learn and grow as a player. So if you're looking at ESEA, Literally, you can have a player who only has 1,000 hours, maybe playing for a third division team in the EGL, brand new to the scene, and he can play ESEA. And now he can get matched up against or with someone like a Miston, a Heartbreak. You know, some of these like top players in our country, and you can kind of like learn stuff from them. You can see how they communicate, how they are, stuff that they do, flashes they throw, smokes they throw, mollies, kind of how they take map control and all that. Obviously, you can watch your demo afterwards. So it's actually really cool. And a really fun thing that you can have. It's a great advantage, obviously, if you're a lower tier player, to just be easily having that advantage of learning from these top players. And you can very much grow as a player way faster than with FACEIT, where you would start out in your gold division, you would have to grind up, and from what I've heard around the gold division, it's absolutely garbage, very toxic as well, even more toxic than diamond, I've heard. And it's been described as a toxic cesspool. You can't escape it, people have said. So just going off of that, it doesn't sound like the best way to kind of grow as a player. And I think it's more pushing away players from the competitive scene and learning and integrating new talents. So that's not a really cool thing to see, and that is where I have to give ESEA the thumbs up and say, like, yo, you're giving these new players opportunities which I never had. I never had the opportunity to play with people like Mustims and Blazers and all of these players. I had to grind up and play with noobs like myself back then. And I did grow as a player. Yes, I did in FACEIT, but I think it took way longer than it should have. So that is also not so great if in the FACEIT versus ESEA battle. And then the last thing that I wanted to discuss around Pugs, and this is going to be the overall match quality, and this is why FACEIT have come so close to ESEA. In my rating between the two, I've given ESEA 8 out of 10 and FACEIT a 7 out of 10, but this is mainly just to the overall match quality. So yes, you can have new players in your team, and they are learning, which is great for them, but maybe not so great for you, because you might be way above their level, and that's not going to be very cool, because you expect certain stuff, because you're at a certain amount of hours in the game, and then it can get a bit annoying when you have people not knowing basic smokes or something. And you know what, that's fine. It is going to impact the match quality. But at the end of the day, still, the casual experience in ESEA kind of goes with us. And you say, like, you know what? I'm just not going to have this high of an expectation from my team or from the specific player, and I'm going to kind of adapt my own gameplay. So overall, it's not that bad. Whereas FACEIT, the match quality is good. It is good. Don't get me wrong. I haven't had the opportunity to play in Masters before, but the diamond match quality, it was good. The only negative thing I would say about it is it gets to a point where it's really repetitive. You're playing against the same players over and over and over again. You're playing on the same recycled maps over and over again, and you're really not learning too much. Again, coming back to the learning and growing as a player, and the match quality at times were way better than ESEA. I would say that, but it's still this toxicity and just the overall repetitiveness is the thing that is really bringing FACEIT down. So that's why I've given ESEA the stamp of authority with the 8 out of 10, and then FACEIT with the 7 out of 10. So now the last topic that I wanted to discuss, I've just labeled it tournaments, and I could have labeled it probably community impact or something like that, but it's basically revolving around what each platform offers to the community, what each platform gives back. And here again, when I say FACEIT, I don't mean FACEIT, I mean Thousand Lions as a hub, not FACEIT. So discussing ESEA first, a lot of you are going to see 10 out of 10, that's wow, like there must be zero negatives, and there aren't, because honestly, if you're looking at ESEA, the newest season that is being played right now had a total prize pool of 107,000 rand, and I say had because obviously the fluctuating dollar, the rand is appreciating towards the dollar, so now the prize pool has gone down a little bit because the prize pool is in dollars. But that's fine. I believe it's still hovering around the either sub 100 mark. It's probably around 98,000, 100,000, but still, that is still a wow. And that's a lot. That's a lot of money, man. And then not even to mention the previous ESEA season and just the growth that we've been seeing. I mean, the ESEA signups have increased just dramatically. We've overtaken the whole Australian scene, New Zealand scene, Asian Pacific scene, I believe, and that is just absolutely huge, unheard of. I mean, we're such a small community, and to be able to get so many signups, it's absolutely amazing. So you really have to applaud Game.Gold's Lighters, all of the guys that really said, you know what, we're gonna elevate ZACS to another unknown level, never before heard of level, because I've never heard of this kind of sign-ups that they have now, especially with the ESEA. It's never been done before. And then just not even to go over, I'll go over it briefly, but the Cash Cup that they hosted, I mean, it was a 2-day tournament with $1,000 prize pool. I mean, that is absolutely mental. You don't hear of that. Usually, if you have that kind of prize pool, there's a qualifier, and there's lots of matches being played to get up to the grand final. But I mean, this wasn't the case. It's a 2-day tournament. You sign up and you play, and then you get to your semis and your finals, and that was on HLTV, which is massive. I mean, for the ZACS community, just to get featured on HLTV and to have an HLTV profile, I mean, absolutely bonkers. So that is obviously huge, because you have a massive influx of viewers into these kind of streams, and it is really exposing the ZACS scene for the better or for the worse. I mean, ZACS, in my honest opinion, is at a pretty good level. I mean, there's some pretty nice shots being hit and clean Counter-Strike being played. I mean, there are going to be times where obviously there is a fail and you can meme about it, but for the better or for the worse, I think it's going to be for the better overall. The more exposure we get there. And I mean, I didn't even mention that the season 37 and season 36, the season 36 finals recently concluded, also got HLTV coverage. I believe it was for the semi-finals and the finals. And yeah, it's just absolutely insane, just coming back overall to the coverage. And the last point on the whole ESEA tournaments thing is just the ESEA official page on Twitter was actually compiling clips of South African players making sick plays from the Cash Cup, and they threw that all over the account for about a week, and then compiled a whole frag movie. And I mean, the whole world could kind of see that. The whole CS community that follows ESEA overall, they can see that, and that is just absolutely amazing as well. Great exposure, and just overall a great thing to see. So just to kind of summarize that, ESEA, they've brought in huge cash prizes, which is a massive injection into this ZACSGO economy as a whole, to help the players and the organizations make their dreams really become a reality. I mean, the money that we're talking about, it really is, it's not a small deal. It's a big deal. It's a pretty big deal. We haven't really had consistent tournaments with these type of prize pools back in the day. It's only really coming in now, so really exciting stuff with ESEA that I'm thinking like, damn, ZACS might have a future. Now gonna go over to FACEIT. So as you can see, I've given them a 4 out of 10 rating, and I'll quickly just dive into why. So yes, Stars and Lions, they have hosted various wingman tournaments, which is fun. It's fun. I've played in a few, and it's really fun. They've hosted 1v1 tournaments, 5v5 tournaments, and it really does provide your teams a chance to kind of play against each other, kind of in a serious environment. I know back when I actually played in one of these tournaments with my team, when I was still playing in a team, I kind of just used it as a kind of a stepping stone, or kind of a real practice indicator to kind of see like, damn, okay, this is how we perform in a semi-serious environment, and that's kind of cool to have that. And also, not to mention that they're hosting the Girls Gamer Festival, I believe it's called, on their servers as well. Not hosting the prize pool at all. They're just kind of providing the servers for it to be played on, which is also absolutely very cool, very nice stuff. But the thing for me is all of these wingmans, these 1v1s, the 5v5 tournaments, the prize pools were FACEIT points. So it's not really a cash prize that you're getting. Just to kind of dive in quickly to the whole FACEIT points conundrum, what you have is you get FACEIT points. Cool. Now that is a kind of a currency that you can use on FACEIT to use a FACEIT shop, and you can buy various things. Most players, they buy then cosmetic items, the skins. Okay, cool. Sounds great. I mean, it is just as good as having skins as a prize pool, and it sounds absolutely amazing in theory. But in practicality, does not work at all. I've got about 30,000 FACEIT points stored up in my account because the only reason why is the FACEIT shop is a global shop. I'll say that again, a global shop. So what that means is the Brazilian scene, the North American scene, the European scene, Asia Pacific, Australia, whoever has FACEIT servers, they all use that one shop. That shop is severely understocked. So that means that you have to really go into a lot of effort to even try and just get a skin. So essentially, they're not really giving this cash injection back into the South African CSGO community at all. I'm not blaming them for doing that, not at all. I mean, they are kind of giving the players a reward in the kind of a vibe of cosmetic skins, which is nice for some players, but it's not really giving anything back to the larger ZA CSGO community, and it's not upbuilding the South African CSGO community in any way. So that's why I've only given them a 4 out of 10. I do like them hosting these type of tournaments. I do think it is crucial to kind of, have some players just play. It's great. But I would maybe encourage them to kind of look at what ESEA have been doing. I mean, that is absolutely insane that you're getting these kind of tournaments with these type of prize pools, getting them onto HLTV. That is what we need in South African CS in 2021. I mean, if I can just encourage FACEIT, maybe try and do what ESEA are doing right now, then I can give you a high rating if I maybe do a follow-up video, if FACEIT do maybe change around a few things. But yeah guys, that is actually going to be concluding my video, and as you can see, I've kind of given ESEA the go ahead in terms of I prefer ESEA over FACEIT, and I kind of discussed in depth why. I know this might be a bit of a long video, so I do apologize for that. But I kind of wanted to give you this in-depth video to explain my opinion, my explanations, and my experiences, to just kind of show maybe someone clicking on the video why ESEA, why FACEIT, what is the advantage with some things around ESEA, what is the advantage with some things around FACEIT. It's really what you want as a player to kind of make that decision for yourself. But for me, ESEA for me all the way. As I've said, the reasons listed before, they kind of speak for themselves. So guys, I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video. I've had an absolutely banging time kind of making and recording this video and doing the research for this video. So I really do appreciate you clicking on the video. And as always, stay safe in these troubling times. I hope maybe we can get a ZAC, well, why am I saying ZA? South African CSGO LAN going maybe later this year. That would be absolutely insane to see. But yeah, that's maybe a new video idea I can maybe discuss. But for now, I'm gonna keep it short. Thank you guys for clicking on the video, watching the video. I really do appreciate it, and stay safe. Cheers guys.